thing. It doesn't say. There we are. There we are. I'm watching a terrible Eagles team right now, Yanni. Save me.
Hey, I don't know if I can help you with this one, man. This one might not be your night.
Not looking so good right now. 20-7. Do the Eagles have more than one first? Yeah, they have 3 first downs. 19-3 is the total for first downs. Not good. Miles Sanders did not have a carry until the second quarter. I'm actually shocked that the Cowboys only have 261 total yards. I think they're like 246 with like 8 minutes left in the half. I'm looking for Cowboys anything in the second half. I don't see the Eagles coming back in this. Do you?
Certainly based on that first half game flow, it's hard to picture that. The question is, how aggressive is Dallas going to stay? Can the Eagles get anything going offensively, which they really haven't been able to sustain? But I'm with you. It definitely isn't shaping up to be their night.
Not shaping up. What was the pregame over under? 51.5, something in that range, I believe.
51.5. Yeah. If you were on it, you got that at 49.5 a while back. But yep, 51.5 at kickoff.
51.5. And just real quick, for anybody watching on Twitter Live, they're doing this thing where Periscope finally got disbanded after 6 to 7 months. If you make a comment, then we're not going to see it, unfortunately, on the platform and StreamYard that we're using right now. They'll probably iron this out. But go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Wager Rager. You'll see that, and then all your glorious comments can pop up. Your glorious comments just shitting on the Eagles right now, right? And speaking of that, we'll have someone to come in and shit on the Eagles. There's Dutch. Dutch, let's give your 30-second take on that first half and the state of this team right now.
Not great. Not great at all.
Not going to get it done.
I mean, it looks like every time we try to give Sanders the ball and let the boys run a little bit, it works for a second. But Jesus, it is quite an atrocity right now. We have no offense, and our defense, which looked a little bit. There was a glimmer of hope in the beginning. It's a mess.
It's a mess. The spread right now in the game, Cowboys by 13. So it's basically saying Eagles pick in the second half. I like that. I like that right now, right? Like, I don't see the Eagles making this any closer unless you talk me into this here, Yanni. Like, somehow, some way.
Yeah, I don't think I can talk you into that. I'm not in love at all with the game plan on either side of the ball. I mean, I think you touched on offensively what they're doing, but what I really was disappointed is they made no adjustments defensively, and maybe they will in the second half, but they were playing too deep safety, and literally Dallas was running the ball down their throat, and they weren't stopping them passing anyways. And I felt like with their defense being on the field as long as it was, what did they have to lose by being a little bit more aggressive? So they score quickly, big deal. I mean, they're just moving the ball at will, like you said, 19 first down. So I don't know this coaching staff well enough to know what kind of adjustments they may make out of half. I'm with you. If it's a pick in the second half, I think you got to look at Dallas at that point.
Dutch, do you agree? You got to look at Dallas in the second half. I mean, they could give it to Miles Sanders some more, but is that the answer? I mean, he's got 2 carries for 27 yards. They probably should have done that in the first quarter before this game was. It's not out of hand. Look, we saw the Niners were down by, 10 last night at halftime?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is 20-7. It feels like a little bit more. Dak had turnover. Dak had that play where he scored but didn't score, right? So there's that going on. I mean, if you're going to take anything, I would say Dallas in the second half. It's actually Dallas plus a half point now for the second half because it's for the game minus 12.5 Dallas. I mean,
that sounds like a smart play for sure, but I will never take that. I can't just because I'm a homer. But if I was smart, yeah, that sounds excellent to me. But
Schmidt found our YouTube page. Schmidt found the YouTube page. So people on Twitter, go on YouTube. Hopefully we'll figure this out. But yeah, just post your comments on YouTube. But yeah, this is ugly. Zeke Yanni, 60 rush yards. That's not what we expected. 2 touchdowns. I thought that was going to go under.
Well, I had that under. Obviously, that's not going to hit here, and it's disappointing because, like I said, they've been encouraging them to run the ball, which is fine to start out with. But once you kind of saw the flow of the game, I would have liked to have seen an adjustment there.
A lot of commenters very happy with the Eagles. Yeah.
Not that fantasy matters anymore, but I'm playing against Zeke tonight, and I'm starting Jalen Hurts tonight. So on top of this being my home team, and just it's a real rough night. I'm trying not to use that profanity to explain it, but
you can
golly,
use
it's rough.
profanity if you really need to. I mean, in a situation like this, I think you are allowed to use profanity right now. I'm going to put up Dallas in the second half. It's plus a half point. And fact check me on this if you're looking around, but minus 12.5 on the game means Dallas a half point in the second half. I'm going to look around at some prop bets now too. We've been finding some prop value here, Yanni, in the past couple weeks or past couple live streams that we've had live, because that's what a live stream is. We had what Kelsey last night, had the Chiefs, had Kelsey 2 weeks ago, and we had Kittle last night. Sorry,
last night we had the over for Green Bay, which hit. So yeah, we've nice little run the last 2 live streams as far as that goes.
Let's see if we can get something. Dak Prescott over under pass yards 259.5. He's at 148 right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Similar to last night, and Rodgers thinking that that's light, I think that's a little bit light. I know that they're going to try to take the air out of the ball, but
it's gonna be a rough night.
Yeah, it's hard.
A rough night for Dutch.
It's hard to imagine they're not going to score 2 touchdowns. That Dallas isn't going to score 2 touchdowns in the second half.
So they get to 34. That would mean team total. So someone find the team total.
33.5.
33.5. So that's not bad either. So you could do Dallas plus a half point, Dallas team total. Also, that might be a nice little look. Let's see some more comments. Yinzer Mike can't wait to let the Eagles backdoor this cover. That's true. We are dealing with Mike McCarthy here, guys. We are dealing with Mike McCarthy.
He will fumble the chili if given it to him. So
this is depressing. I just keep just keep fumbling the chili. I had chili for dinner, and that might get vomited out if I keep watching this. I just keep looking at this 19-3 first down differential here, and that's just disgusting. 0 for 4 on third down.
Awful.
Right. I'm sorry, we have to read that comment about a 10-year-old Madden player calling better plays, and it's funny because literally my kid was watching, and he was like, "What are they doing out there?" And I'm like, "Man, my kid has this thing figured out." So I hear you.
Real bad.
What's the path to success in the second half for the Eagles here, Yanni? If they were to come back, we need another Dak turnover or Zeke fumble. And Jesus.
I think obviously they would have to have some turnovers here again in the second half. I think that's probably the only way they can come back. I mean, I don't know, even if they can get their offense going, which is really questionable. Like you said, 19 first downs for Dallas. They haven't proven they can stop them. I mean, barring a fumble, interception, something like that, how do they stop them at this point? I don't know that they can.
I don't think so either. I think that 34 definitely happened. So team total over 33.5, Cowboys plus a half, second half. It seems easy. And if it doesn't hit, then I guess maybe I'll be happy. But the Eagles, even if they cover this second half, I'm probably still going to be pissed off because they're going to lose this game by a touchdown. Well, any other thoughts on this? Because we can pivot to week 4 and talk about some spreads there. Any other closing thoughts other than this is a disaster?
This is the kind of game that I should pick the under 20.5 team total for the second half for the Birds. I should do that. And I'm going to say that, 20 minutes from now, half an hour from now, fourth quarter, I'll text you and I'll say the same thing. I should have picked it, but that's all.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, coulda. How about this? How about the Chiefs are coming into Philly next week? Get a minus 6.5 on the Chiefs while you can.
Okay.
I don't care that the Chiefs are on the road. I don't care that Andy Reid was in the hospital. I think
this is a tour.
Losing. Yeah. He'll just come out of the hospital, slam a couple cheesesteaks here in Philly and be good as new. I'm thinking that's a 34-17, 34-20 game right there. The Chiefs don't have a good run defense, and maybe Sirianni will actually use Miles Sanders a little bit in that game and they go up early, but I think that's 34-23 at the most. Get Chiefs before the Monday night money cashes out and starts slamming it, and the lines and the limits open up on Wednesday around noon is typically how that happens at the sharp books. But yeah, Chiefs. Yanni, you said last night, Tampa, I got minus 5.5. You have minus 5.5. I saw a 6.5 earlier. I think 6 is still available. So we're both aligned on Tampa there.
Yeah, we mentioned last night, get that one early. That's going to hit the key number. I mean, that's going to get to 7. I wouldn't be shocked if that gets to 8. So obviously getting it before it hits 7 is going to be important there. But I understand that that's somewhat of a square play because a lot of people are going to be looking at that and saying Tampa's going to win. But again, I don't think that game is even remotely close. I think you have two teams on opposite ends of the spectrum there. I don't think it's going to be close at all.
I will say that you do have a lot of conviction on picks. I think this is the most conviction I've seen from you this far in advance on a pick. And that's why I really love Tampa even more in this spot, especially as they're coming off of a loss. Definitely take out a second mortgage, sell your crypto, put it all on the Chiefs next week.
Well, I don't raise my unit bets very often. I'm a pretty steady bettor as far as that goes. I try to
me and you both,
but I upped it for this one. I am all in. I think that if I go down with this one, I go down and I'll live with it. But I just, like you said, I've got strong conviction on this one. I don't think this game is close. I think Tampa Bay beats the living crap out of them.
I agree, and I like the conviction. And hey, if it doesn't happen, at least you got the better of the line. I wonder if that'll even tick up to 7. It's at 6.5 right now. Is that going to keep going to 7? We'll see.
I think it gets to 8, to be honest with you.
Keeps going and going. Just keeps getting pounded. How about Pittsburgh and Green Bay? Green Bay is 6.5. Some places a 7-point favorite now. Pittsburgh coming into Green Bay next week. That's an interesting one, right? Is that a trap spot here? Is Tomlin goes on the road and
they're a team that's a fast starter. Sometimes they kind of take the gas off. We saw that a little bit last night with them, got off to a pretty hot start and then kind of let San Francisco get back in it. But, when you looked at that Pittsburgh team, they looked really, really bad on Sunday. And I realized they were out without the best defensive player. And, they were missing Deontay Johnson on offense and some other key guys. But at the end of the day, like you said, what are they going to be? I think that Green Bay first half line is something that'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah, check the weather too. It's starting to cool down a little bit. I know Denver is going to be a little bit cooler next week. That's a game that we can top line real quick. Don't want to spoil all the fun for our Wednesday podcast, but check the weather in Green Bay. I don't know if there's going to be any wind, but that just seems like a spot where it's like, yeah, bet Green Bay in the first half, even first quarter. I made a good amount of money 2 years ago doing that. Last year, I didn't really follow up on it too much. LaFleur, though, those first half and those first quarter lines usually hits pretty damn well. Pittsburgh looked awful. Big Ben looked awful. Do you bounce back from that? He looks cooked. And maybe he bounces back to a certain extent and takes some steroids or something, but he looks awful. He looks awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the interesting thing is we went into the season saying, how's that offensive line going to play? They actually played pretty well in week 1. Since then, though, they put Pat in
Jesus Christ.
You guys saw that. You guys saw that clip where he was literally just like falling and throwing, man. What was that?
Hobie, what's going on? We're currently talking about, we're done bashing on the Eagles, but we're talking about Big Ben falling all over himself. Like, what the hell was going on there?
The only reason I came in here is to say that Derek Barnett is a travesty and needs to be fired into the sun.
He's awful. I saw a stat. It said that he's got 19 career sacks, 23 penalties. That's not good.
Pretty good. Pretty solid.
He's terrible, guys. He's terrible. This team is terrible. Any other games we want to talk about real quick? It has been fun shitting all over the Eagles. How about this real quick? I do want to pick your brain, Yanni. Denver and Baltimore is a really interesting matchup next week. Denver at home. They're 3-0. They've destroyed bad teams. Baltimore is a 1-point dog. That might flip and go back and forth from a pick to the Ravens being favored. Do you have any high-level thoughts on that so far?
Well, I'll probably do a little digging into that. I've been kind of a little bit on the Denver bandwagon, as you know, all year. I think they're a really solid team, good defense, good quarterback play from Bridgewater. But I think that as bad as the Ravens looked, and obviously they should have lost that game to the Lions the other night, I think they go in there and they get this win. I think that it's a bad matchup a little bit for Denver in terms of how they play defense and a little bit on how they play offense. So I'm high on Denver overall, not this week per se.
I'm with you. I actually took a little bit of Ravens +1 last night. And I actually talked it over with Vostrain. We're trying to start up some like early look Monday podcast, just talk over like what happened the week prior and take a look at some of the look aheads. And he was actually leaning Denver at first, but he was kind of up in the air. But I saw that Ravens +1 and said, I kind of like what I'm seeing in this spot. I know that the Ravens, have turned the ball over and they haven't looked great so far, but just take a look at their stats. If they stop turning the ball over, then maybe they'll have some success. And Denver's beat up on some bad teams. But when you're a good team or an emerging team, you're supposed to take care of business and beat up on those bad teams, right? So anyways, I'll stop talking. Hobie, any other thoughts of what you're looking for in the second half besides you might shut off your TV in a few minutes?
Well, Goddard just had a nice completion here, so that's fun to see. I don't know. They need to get something going on offense. Hurts just threw a bad pass. But did anyone see?
Oh, look at that!
Devontae Smith had that nice run and catch, and then he immediately comes out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not great.
Why do we think? Isn't he supposed to be our go-to guy? Why is he coming out of the game?
It's a very good question.
And then they go jumbo and they get snuffed immediately. I don't know.
They really needed to get JJ Arcega-Whiteside in there, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone gets Arcega from Barcelona into the game. He might be the saving grace in the second half. Yeah, no. To your point, Hobie, I don't know what's going on with that. I thought, is he banged up? Oh my God, yes, I am watching this. That is a pick six going in the other direction, and Gardner Minshew can't come into the game because he is inactive tonight.
Ooh, boy,
well,
I thought
Jesus Christ.
I went out on a limb. I was like, Hurts. No, I like this guy, but it's just Mickey Mouse college quarterback bullshit. Unfortunately.
Well, on the plus side, if you put those halftime bets in, you're feeling pretty good right now.
You feel good about Dallas. Dallas
you,
team total 33.5 is more than halfway there now in the second half. This is a fucking mess. I might not even watch past the end of the third quarter. I'll watch until we hit this Cowboys bet of team total over 33.5.
I can't. I dislike losing to the Cowboys more than anyone in the entire NFL.
Yeah, especially in this fashion. Well,
if you're looking
solid ass
viewers, if you're looking for something else, The Hangover starts in a half hour. The Dark Knight just started on Paramount, so that's nice. The Office is on forever, and yeah. You got some options. I'm sure Con Air is on somewhere. So
Con Air,
Bar Rescue as well.
Also on. You can see Scotty Scheffler beat the snot off Rom.
There you go. You can watch replays of the Ryder Cup. That was great. I'm going to go downstairs, have some more chili, probably wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, shit myself, go back to bed, wake up, and then say, oh, yeah, I actually shit myself and I watched that Eagles game last night. I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's the worst part of my life right now.
Both sound like a bloodbath.
Yeah, and then log into work and then want to shit myself again. So on that note, the live stream is still going as I'm talking about all of that. I wish everybody the best of luck on Dallas team total over 33.5. We've got plenty of podcasts coming out this week. Did one with Rose Train today. Look ahead for week 4. Yanni and JJ, I think we're going to do on Wednesday night. Also deep dive into probably 4 or 5 select games, and the live streams will keep going. We do need to figure out, Twitter needs to figure out how to get the comments back because they disbanded Periscope. And they ruined a good thing. So hopefully we get the comments back from not just YouTube. We get them back on Twitter. So technology is tough, guys. Sometimes.
Sure is.
So
sure is. Too much of it.
All right, fellas. I appreciate it. Yanni, enjoy yourself in Florida. I'm going to go have some more chili and shit myself.
All right. Hang in there, guys.
Later, guys.
Take it easy.